This is Launders, I'm Scrawny, and we are both excited.
Yeah, we're both excited. This is a huge match right here because, obviously if MiBR can't take this one, there's basically no chance they make it through to the finals. But if they do, they get through Astralis, a team they didn't have to play yesterday, then maybe they could make it and take that spot from Na'Vi, who look primed to take that second position. But Astralis are off to a flying start, obviously winning all of their matches so far. So here we are on Inferno. It is a mixed team for MiBR, but still a team full of talent.
Team that's consistently been hitting that B bomb site. As you can see, the last 5 pistol rounds, their target. And even though they have this 3-man cohort wrapping around the A site, you know what they're about to sink their teeth into. It should be Fallen. He's looking to lock down the banana. It's got a little bit of cover, but he's also got the flank. coldzera's here to help him, and they could effectively cut this split off in half. They have. MiBR look poised for a pistol, but it's Glaive and Zipex to try and clutch.
Oh man, small timing here with the smoke down. They can actually go and try to get a bomb plant. Glaive can hold this down. He knows he's got a bunch of opponents. It's actually all 5 of MiBR behind the smoke, and now they've been activated. Bomb gets planted. They'll try to take after plant spots, but they need to make sure they get kills first.
Yeah, they come in as a waterfall. Zipex on the fountain, catching just one by surprise. Then MiBR have realized what's up. The double stack cleaned out, and a pistol for the Brazilians.
That was awesome. It was a super fast split by Astralis. It was crazy because you don't typically see them do B-splits on the pistols like they did there, but MiBR's rotations were just as fast. Had coldzera at the bottom, banana ready to flank immediately. So fantastic recovery from MiBR, even though I think they got hit with something they didn't expect, but here it is, coldzera to get that information first, and everybody to contribute with a very important pistol kills. That bomb going down was a small moment of solace for Astralis. If they get some money for it, they're actually going to go ahead and buy into this. They have not, after losing a pistol round, decided to save. Here is going to be no exception. They've got a couple of AKs and some utility on these players. Magic and Device are going to be the men of the hour as we move into a round where MiBR have a significant firepower advantage.
Just playing it cool at first, dodging those grenades. But it's the grenades followed up by the closer presence. Stewie's going to take himself a little cubby. coldzera's going to take himself a kill. That was inside the apartments. We didn't quite catch it, but Dupree is looking to avenge his fallen comrade. He'll fall out empty-handed. Now Stewie's in the corner, and Wave's not going to thoroughly check this. It is traded straight away with Device luckily being on that AK, but then the trade frag from Banana is gone. Fallen just dips back into the bomb site, and he's left Astralis split. Now, just on one last leg. Magisk, one of the 2 AK wielders coming into this round, has a clutch task to his name. And it is Fallen that he will first meet. He's got no clue where he fell off to, and it's the jumping up off the flash. Nice little bit of teamwork here for MiBR.
That was sick. They're bringing the ferocity, and there's a round where Astralis can't be written out of it, but they still get demolished. So fantastic cleanup from MiBR, losing minimal members, and now they have another buy up to them. They don't have much to go up against. They're going to be happy that they know that they got this round off the back of a buy from Astralis. So it wasn't the best one ever, but they've still knocked that out. So they're not going to anticipate a back-to-back buy. They can treat this as an anti-eco, try to farm up as much as possible. They don't have SMGs to make the most money that they can, but they'll still have a pretty free round, and by having minimal losses, they'll spend way less next round. So here it is. First guy goes down, that Zipex to the top of Banana, in between 2 flames, and Stewie to get aggressive once again.
And the aggression's been the name of the game for MiBR so far this weekend. Loving to get up close and personal, and who blames them, especially in a round like this. Again, the timed flashbang, the peak. It's the right swing after the left jab.
Now it's just Device and Dupree. 2 players up, bomb in hand, moving through the apartments, but there is players scouting from MiBR at every corridor at the moment. One in halls, that's Tarek. He's actually got an AUG, which is again something that we want to see more of. Just try to abuse this as much as possible, especially in a situation where you're so underrated, right? There's almost no way that you win this map. The stats for Astralis on Inferno are so daunting. The stats versus MiBR, but versus MiBR that have subs is even more daunting, right? So they've just got to try to throw as many spanners at the work as possible. Just keep changing it up if they can, and the AUGs come cheap. So we'll see if Tarek can have enough impact with it. And even if he doesn't, it's just the same investment as if you were to get an M4. So nothing to lose here in round 4. 5 AKs for Astralis. Not going to pick up an op on Device. Don't know if it's because they didn't have enough money. It seems like, yeah, they bought down to basically 0. So maybe not by choice, but It won't be too much of a hindrance. However, swag from the arch, not someone you typically see opping, let alone on this team at a LAN.
I was gonna say, that's the beauty of it. That's what I wanted to watch, a little swag op.
Yeah,
what a treat we have ahead of us. Nice to see him with his name in lights. Already dispatches of that first mid peak, and it's gonna send Zipex back from the apartments, down alt mid. The entirety of his team seem to be clearing Banana. There's nothing there for them. MiBR, quick hit and an even faster fallback over and over now for these first 4 rounds.
Setting up now into a B execute, it looks like, as the bomb finally trails its way up. Zipex looks to waste as little time as possible, running most of the distance. Initial flash goes over to bait off whatever utility is left over in the site. It's a 2-3. This is the best site to hit for Astralis.
Yeah, this is a tantalizing hit. Utility's just going to be delayed slightly because MiBR laid down another smoke. They're still hanging on to another 2 between Stu and Swag.
But the time is ticking down, and with that, MiBR have decided to cheat another man over to A. He's going to pick up the CT position. They've got a crossfire within the site. This is going to be hard to break.
Molotov's may shake falling out of his position. Utility's heavy on the entrance, but Device turned away immediately. Stu with the first one falling, continues the spray, but it's Derek with a couple kills on the kill feed. Zipex falls, and it's MiBR still sweeping forward. Like you said, a solid hold that's hard to break through. They had the chance, they had the timing when the 3-2 setup favored A, but it was that delayed smoke play that I think bolsters the defense, and you could see it in itself. Eric with a couple.
Absolutely. They used the extra 22 seconds that they got from the first Molotov and then smoke right after to make sure that Astralis couldn't comfortably execute until the third player had rotated fully in. So even though MiBR were without information, because they could delay for so long, they could cheat that one man over at a leisurely pace and then still have him there in time to make sure they could have a fortified B defense. So Astralis now back on the pistols, have a couple more pieces of utility to work with at the very least. Some players on head armor and just armor in general. And it looks like they want to move fast. Through with smoke, up bracket.
Blinding flashback pushes the hopper back. Swag caught, but he's replaced by Stewie. Good damage control as he picks up one, and all the while, we've got Tarek with eyes on bomb, or so they were. He's smoked off, and he's going to opt to go right through it, catching Glade with his back turned and pushing it just to Device. An anti-eco is successful, and MiBR on fire.
Yeah, the first team to do it versus Astralis in this whole event so far. So that's a great way to start. They definitely can't rest on their laurels at this moment. They've still got to win another 11 rounds, and that's not going to be easy to come by, but it's the best start to a half that you can ask for. Definitely a reason that Astralis were able to pick apart all of the teams that they played against yesterday and today so easily. It's because they're bringing home back-to-back pistol rounds in some of these maps. So Inferno, it's going to be tough, but this is a great way to begin. So MiBR, what do they do here versus another rifle round of Astralis? It's nades going back and forth, cascading over that half wall on Banana. And Device in his usual spot, very good at this angle.
Aggression here, trying to clear out these closer corners, and sure enough, Fallen finds Device within it all. There's still presence near, though, Astralis. It's not just the one man looming at the bottom, it's the repeat from Magix that does catch Stu. And the smoke replumed. But they're not going to shy away from walking right through it, and Fallen knows that danger's near. So he'll just cool his jets and ask for Tarek to come over. That's the reason they locked down the B site previously. The flash from Tarek's good for just one, but an effective trade frag from Astralis keeps this even, 3 apiece. And coldzera spots a smidgen of Zipex. That's all he needs. Oh! The flick from Swag's right there, and Magix left limping on 20 HP. No information nor teammates nearby.
Yeah, and it was made at 3v3 for a second, but the reason that coldzera was so concerned about the fact that someone might be in halls is because they went and took the risk of getting that information early. Swag, rare sight, actually falls for a shoulder peek here as Magix gets the better of him, but he's on such low health, he can't even track this guy down. They can evacuate the site and still have him closed off on an angle, and Swag falls back to a new one, finally picks that up, and they continue to be on fire as we move into round 7.
Man. Just to note, coldzera still 9 kills, 0 deaths. Tarek 5-0. They have not been dispatched of. Gonna have to take something special to put out the flames here. MiBR continue to burn things up. And even within the flames, they're fine.
Yeah, something to be said about the amount of teams that do well with subs at this tournament. because MiBR definitely look good. We didn't get the pleasure of casting them yesterday. This will be the first game we see from MiBR. We've been kind of just following Astralis around to each of their matches, but this is kind of refreshing already. Definitely the best start that we've seen versus Astralis so far. It doesn't look like it's going to be cooling down anytime soon. Astralis now, they're in a position where they've got max loss. They can half buy and buy next round, so it's not going to be the easiest anti-eco, but an anti-eco still.
Yeah. Again, closer corner for Tarek. Nice little readjustment on the aim. And Fallen doesn't want to be slain, so he just falls back, ejects. And that's been just this consistent issue with the B site, is the pace of which the CTs just dip and dodge back to safety. And Astralis will find no safety. There's so much presence here from MiBR. Not to mention Fallen just tucked away in the corner. He's going to duel off versus Dupree, who does get the best of him, and Stewie can't handle the M4. So as Dupree jumps over the smoke, he gets the info, knows, but can't sustain Swag, who just comes flying around the corners looking for yet another kill. In fact, it's just Swag left over. This would be an upset from Astralis. If they can work these pistols into a round on the board, what a way to finally crack the spree and extinguish the flames of an on-fire MiBR. He's got the kit and he's got a smoke to work with. Knows there's someone back there but can't figure it out. So Magisk peeks wide and it's Astralis with their first.
Yeah, remember this round as we move into the next, because, you know, this could be a chance for MiBR to get shaken up. They just got ecoed. It was 3v5. They had Astralis pushing through a smoke, through so many counter grenades. Has Fallen found a way to fall back and had his teammates so close by, and they still all got taken down within the site. So it's going to be something that could totally rattle your confidence, but they could shake it off at the same time. And even though Astralis have some residual income from the last round because they won it on a half buy, they're not going to have so much left over that they'll have a healthy one if they lose. So here's a pause called just to make sure they can kind of maybe ice the kicker here, try to reset the situation, get back in, get their heads back into it. They did everything correct, you know. They were kind of aggressive on that round on Banana, but they still came out somewhat ahead. They had Fallen fall back. He had a good gun on the site. He had lots of time to set up. There was just a couple of flubs in terms of mechanics that made them lose, but they can't think about that too much. They can go right back to basics, make sure that they are playing their game and they've got their heads on straight. Just keep it really simple.
Hello, AWP, as we've got 3 on the board already. Fallen joins Swag with the cannons. They'll be looking to meet Device, of course. Who sits back at the bottom of Banana, cannot support Magisk in this position, especially not with smokes all over the place.
4 players cheating over towards A site, just in preparation. Oh, I see. It's just a swap out, actually, as Fallen is going to take the op to B. Interesting. Wonder what the thought process is here. If they're going to try to retake top Banana, or if he's going to try to creep up to it, or if they just want to fortify the site with the op, because he's got nothing left to do at A. Sometimes a team will do this if they let the op shot ring out. So the Ghost of Fallen is kind of there at Arch in the minds of the T's.
It was also a way to put 2 smoke grenades and 2 Molotovs over towards that B bomb site. And I'd say, seeing as they've won a round already by just burning down that clock with utility, wouldn't be a surprise if that's a motivator in and of itself. But they will push Stewie through, and that's going to cost them.
This is one thing, they won't move, and I don't know if Astralis realized the op has actually changed positions, but with Coldzera going down, it makes each site equally weak.
Now they're just going to push around the brackets. Not to mention Braxton's been spotted, tagged up slightly. He's going to get up close and personal, knowing that Zipex is in there, but he misses his shot. Tarek doesn't, although that reveals him from being inside of the pit, and he will be swarmed from left, right, and above, but he seems to read into it. Good job. Cuts it down into the 1 versus 2. You've got Fallen in a clutch, but the bomb's planted safely. Tucked away is Magisk. And over towards the pit resides Dupree. How the hell does Fallen get into this?
He wants it. He can smell the reset. It's tough because he has the op to save and he wants to bring that into the next round. In terms of money, they do have some, so he can think about it, but because of the smoke, he can't even safely attempt this retake, thinking like I can get there in time to defuse the bomb, even if I somehow manage to at least get these 2 kills. So it seems like at this point he's just waiting for the cross into pit to try to get one last kill. Could count for something, and because we'll have another buy, Astralis will still be on the precipice of saving. You might imagine that they will if MiBR bring this next round back. But a good 2 in a row from Astralis. It was nice. It was a nice thought to go and hit A in that situation. I think they saw an opportunity. They got Coldzera, which was, I think, the key piece. And it's good also that MiBR are not sitting around waiting for the fight to come to them. I like that they fight for information on Banana. Maybe that's what Astralis wanted, however. And so you can credit them for being aware and ready.
It did seem that way. I mean, not only does Stewie go through the smoke on Banana, but you also have then Coldzera trying to get closer and closer towards Porch. Both of those kinds of walks forward, those initiatives shut down by Astralis. With a 5v3, sweep it away. Now, what's next? Fallen's boost early. Frag grenades just at the side, chips away at the health between him and Stu, but both will be all right.
Yeah, that early damage could count for something later on. But in the meantime, Fallen from the Watchtower still has a very favorable spot. Just the amount of information really eases up on the rotates for his teammates, but Bracky control is taken in response. Arc players denied the vision, the only vision they had of brackets. And now MiBR scramble. For cheat over to A, but the bomb has not made a decision.
Fallen almost caught, exposed to the double peek. As he retreats, the T's hot on his heels. Stewie ready to walk right out, but it's Fallen to drop the first body. And as the flames plume, Magis has been sectioned off, but that's fine, because he still finds Fallen, who maybe didn't expect to have been so aggressive. Meanwhile, look at Dupree.
They know he's here, though. Oh my god, he gets away with another one.
Just hits cold in the back. Now Zipek's prepared for the smoke push. Swag's gonna try to put rounds through it, but that's not gonna stop anything. This is Astralis' third on the board. Seemed like they had that defense in position, but a slippery tongue from both Magisk and Dupree.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You know, two hot individual plays. I'm so surprised that Coldzera of all people got caught off guard in that moment, just because they know how often Dupree is at top mid. And if he goes up against the wall to clear that angle, Dupree cannot hide. His AK is sticking all the way out. His left arm, is going to be visible as well. So I'm surprised that that they didn't fully make sure that he wasn't there. There's Tarek to get a couple of kills, and these ones are actually so important, because if you look at the last round, they were down to just 2. They were low on economy as well. So if he pulls out another one, I don't know. But there's still 2 up for Astralis. They win 3 in a row here. And we're starting to see the exploitable weakness of MiBR. When they lose 1 man, it seems like they'll be dead. They'll be quick to lose 2 or 3. Stewie makes kind of a heinous push through the smoke and CT spot after Fallen gets killed by Magis to try to even up, but not looking in the right direction, not assisted by a flash whatsoever. So you'd like to see the team aspect heightened a little bit more for MiBR when they're down on numbers, or at least even on lower numbers.
Yeah, and in earlier rounds, I feel like we saw some fantastic kind of bits of teamwork there with the team flashes on the peaks. They were looking well-oiled, but one fault won't stop them. Stewie kicks this off with a kill already. And this is mostly unarmored pistols. Keep in mind, Tarek is still alive. Ignore the HUD for the moment. Which means it's a 5v4 advantage over Astralis. Fire that pushes them into Fallen. We've seen Astralis win a round like this of their own. Can MiBR take a chip off the same block? That's the question. Zipex, he's gonna loom and linger over towards alt mid. Stewie in this smoke yet again, but we know he's a criminal, and he could rob this round right away. Glaive creeps across.
He kind of wants to play this as patiently as he can. The smoke goes up, and does he see an opportunity to push through?
He does, but he misses his shots. He'll hit the dink, but he's gonna task Fallen and Swag with the clutch. Now, luckily for them, they have upgraded to the AKs. The fruits of their labor already, but Swag doesn't spot Magis fast enough. Quick fingers on the Dane will push this back to the in-game leader, who unfortunately for MiBR has only 8 health to play with, but he had a chance there. Taps away and doesn't connect. Walks forward, and that's what he'll regret. Finds both of the remaining members in the back of construction, safely tucked away with another round on the board.
And that's that's the round that you can't lose for sure, where you have the 3v2. Stewie gets in a proper spot, and he basically hits one of the bullets, right? It's to the head, but he doesn't get that second one to lock down the kill, to make it a 2v1, to make it an impossible position to plant in, and that's where they lose. So unfortunately for them, that's going to be all she wrote. There's now a round where they get back to the buy, so they don't steal the eco, they don't give them a taste of their own medicine, but now they've got a new round with rifles, and they've actually picked up the double op in response, something that you do see towards the middle of the half as a way to adjust when you start to lose rounds in a row. Will Astralis expect this?
Smoke damage. I feel like that's when you get into some scary waters with a place like Banana. Oh, and Swag's gonna give them a little bit more footing towards mid. Luckily he doesn't die. but you can see Astralis trying to sink their teeth into this A site, which just means Coldzera alone in pit, but good support from Tarek.
Oh.
Now he's going to use the utility to try and disrupt the push, but it doesn't come at the right timing. And so it's a continuous trade back and forth, 3v3 with all 3 Ts on this A bomb site, and Swag's going to get burned out of the corner if he didn't have that smoke. Thank goodness. A saving grace for him as Astralis pump the brakes and plant their bomb. But they're pinned in. They've lost control of all the remaining portions of this map. And Stewie's ready to strike off of the balcony. He's going to extend outwards, exposing himself to Dupree. And if he doesn't anticipate this, it could be a problem, but it's not! MiBR, great timing. The Peaks had a clean sweep. Those last 2 Astralis players.
Yeah, I felt like they were going to lose that one for sure, where I think when Clay jumped through that smoke at Arch, or if it was Magisk, I don't know, but Swag didn't either. Missed his first flick, had to fall back, and then they got smoked out of all of their rotator spots with just Tarek in the pit, basically feeling alone. And the flash that came over, not only would it have blinded him, even if he had lived a little bit longer, but it probably wouldn't have helped with the amount of players that were peeking him at that moment. Having him turn there probably would have got him killed. So it was a tight timing, and it seemed like Astralis picked a great opportunity to pounce. But once again, the rotations are really good. There's one thing that MiBR are doing even better now than they normally do with their regular lineups. They're being even more aggressive.
Right.
That's only counting against them when they're low on numbers. They feel like they have to make individual plays to get back. You know, and they're going to have to throw crazy plays in that that Astralis are not expecting. But that's not where their work is over. So Astralis, I mean, MiBR actually maintain a lead here. Surprised to see it after that small slip up on the first eco that Astralis turned into 4 rounds. But now we're 3 the difference. And I think another pause has been called just to go over strategies.
I mean, it's a good time to do it. There's a lot weighing on this one. I mean, sure, MiBR, they crack back into this after the 4 rounds of Astralis. They deny that on-fire meter as it's at the last final stage. But now the guillotine is set above the head of the CTs. That economic reset spells disaster. So, again, you just said aggression, but it's got to be calculated and not caught off guard. Tarek now in a very real problematic situation. He's pinned in from both directions, flashed on top of it all, and Magisk just sprays them both down. It's Coldzera to try and clamber back and an attempt to run through apps. Dupree towards Arch, though, wants to cut off any rotations, and sure enough, Stewie does arrive. But is it in time? Doesn't seem so. Another couple kills for Astralis.
Another situation, Stewie flashes for Cold. Cold turns his back to be able to peek into lane, and there's already a player on an off angle, deeper than he expected, and gets a kill. So that puts them in a tough spot. It looked like the rotation back was good. Cold getting that info and falling back, knowing that bracket control could be taken, was smart by him. And here's fallen to get some, you know, commiseration kills at the end, but it's not around. That's what he's most likely going to be able to win. Bomb will go down. Clave is the guy who crosses after a whiff shot, and he almost doesn't get away, but there's Device from the back, working on B for the majority of the round to come through spawn and make sure to flank for the kill.
Yeah, so the guillotine blade comes soaring downwards, and the result is not pretty.
Yeah, closing out the second quarter of the game, moving in the last few rounds of the first half. We've got a situation where Astralis could even up. They could win the rest of the rounds, and still, we'd say MiBR had a solid half to show for it. And you know, considering their situation, I think that's kind of all they'd want to hear. You know, they don't really care how well they played the half tactically, whatever. They just need the numbers because they're not coming back to this lineup.
That would have been worse if Stewie had just been 5 feet behind him. Must have been 6 to 7 grenades now that soar past him. And in fact, none even matter because he's caught nonetheless. So one of the pistols down. However, there's still a scout and pump in play. And MiBR trying to put them on display by running into the B site. They're going to boost Cold up and over, actually, and he nearly manages a second, but Glave's already prepared for him. Poor Swag with a scout up close.
Interesting situation to force. I think because they, you know, have actually got resets on this round. They're anticipating the double save. We might see one more eco, depending on how good their money is after this. But yeah, they maybe spent a little bit more money than they wanted to, but invested to try to get some damage in at least. So MiBR can take these 2 guns into the next round where they won't have enough money to buy. Try again to do some economic damage. And then we'll finally get back to the rifles. That's what we all want to see. But clean anti-eco from Astralis. Clean route into B. And yeah, this is kind of surprising, right? We just haven't seen a team take a lead almost at any point in the match versus Astralis at all, and MiBR have already done that. You've got to imagine it's going to be nice to hear the crowd. I think Tarek even tweeted, who's been kind of in a mood because of the situation he's in with MiBR, kind of feeling lost in the round, or not to misquote him, but just kind of feeling like he doesn't know how to help his team more.
Right.
And then now being left out of the team, you know, I feel like maybe it's nice just to be able to be in the crowd, you know, for potentially one last tournament with a roster that he can just kind of have fun with and experience people, you know, cheering for him, and him just being able to take it easy. So
just riding the high.
Exactly.
That Counter-Strike drug is one of the best.
4-player arch stack with the pistols. 2 flashes in hand for Tarek.
They're just going to circumvent this setup entirely if they walk out balcony. Big question is, where does the bomb get off to? Because if only MiBR...
Rush the bomb.
Exactly, at this moment too. And sure enough, Blaze blinded. Does get the best of the first man in. But this is a bit of a disruption in terms of Astralis' game plan. Unfortunately for Swag, he did get that M4, he falls immediately. And then we just get these moments where everybody's walking through smoke. Like we said, this aggression from MiBR, I feel like it's, you know, it's one of the last tools remaining in their toolbox. A box that's been exhausted at times. And it's just not going to work out at such a disadvantage. It's come to have been expected.
Yeah, they found one small thing, which is nice. Get the bomb down in mid, that's cool. It's just super hard to protect knowing that there could be players on Banana or in halls, and that they've all got guns and they could take time to get it back. They've got to kind of just leave it alone, so it's almost as if the bomb being left there doesn't matter for Astralis, and they show us why. So here we are in the last rifle round, the last round of the half. And MiBR have the chance to end it on a high note. Potentially an 8-7 score line here for both teams. No op for MiBR, so they're going to be a little bit low on utility. Not everything they want to play with. I don't think they have a single kit either.
Certainly
so bomb blank could be the death of them.
Yeah, if Astralis don't have their way first.
That's one hell of a stat. Astralis have won 7 out of the last 8 rounds.
Right, which would most certainly put them on fire if we didn't have that one in the middle, right? MiBR deny it, but only to their own demise. That reset the reason we've had pistols in the last few rounds. But luckily, we're back on guns. The 15th is upon us.
Someone did not want to carry the bomb this round because there are players that could find an opportunity very soon. Dupree might be the first.
He had a chance. And Coldzera, who's even closer than Dupree's initial target. Could have swung out on him, could have caught him by surprise, but instead Stewie, who is just back behind the fountain. Now there's a flash going down that does not hit the face of Flame. Fallen, caught right through smoke. And now Dupree wants nothing to do with this A site. They realize B is free for the taking.
And it's different players showing up at different times on B. Sometimes Stewie gets his kill, sometimes Stewie dies first, and then both players die or fall and goes out and gets a frag, but then gets killed. So it's never been 2 players to get 3 or more kills and just have a straight up solid hold. They played kind of the early rounds really well, but beyond that have had struggles. And that's one site that they haven't had to change in terms of who's playing it. So not firing on all cylinders by any means. 1v3 here. The Swag ends up going down. Both players killed in the rotate. No chance to go for the retake. And the half ends with a positive round score for Astralis. 8-7 as we move into half number 2.
That's wild. 8 of the last 9 rounds go their way.
And this is Astralis simply keeping MiBR out of the finals if they so choose.
Yep, most certainly. And I would say unarguably establishing themselves there in that top place, right? There's no way they're not coming in first if they manage this one. I mean, what a story that would be. Astralis coming off of the Grand Slam victory just to show up at one final event of the year. You know, some people question, would they be motivated? Had they already accomplished their goals? But what a way to cement yourself on the top, to just breeze through the entirety of Blast. This would put them 4-0. But let's go. We've got a second pistol underway. It's MiBR already being dispatched of. Glaive just executing them from the apartments. Magisk tap drops into the skulls as well. This could be a beauty of a pistol as all of Astralis survive, it seems. But Swag takes one back. And if only he had the bomb to plant on B.
Yeah, that could have been nice. Now he's got to run the gauntlet to try to find a USP if he can find it. And shut down 4 players all hiding around corners. We haven't had an operation, but this certainly feels like one.
He's going to jump down and knife him. Okay, I thought it was going to happen.
You were projecting, Connor.
Yeah, the Goomba
This is what you would have done.
Yes, you know it. But again, this is what we talk about, right? Minimizing mistakes, just keeping it smooth. Clear sailing all the way to the finish line. That's what Astralis want. Imagine if they give up a 6-0 lead just to clean sweep everything else. Pistol's so swift here in this 16th round.
Can't blame MiBR for trying to force here. Swag is going to save. I guess he's going to be the primary op in the match, and you can see that by him still having his 2K in the bank. But everybody else has a few has guns and a few bits of utility to use. I'm not totally against this. You know, teams are typically only forcing or buying in the next round, plant or not. But with a lineup like this, honestly, just go for it. Why not? 2 players in the halls. Astralis have created this kind of concave defense on the A site. They've left everything kind of open where you can walk in, but then still get caught off guard if you overextend. But until that point, MiBR might feel a little bit too free. So let's see if they drink the Kool-Aid and go A, or if they try their hand on the other side of the map.
What lies in wait if they arrive at the B site? Well, that would be both Glaive and Zipex. So their utility's dwindling. Smoke and flash between the two. I just very much worry for that pit push. Unfortunately for MiBR's bomb carrier, they're gonna have Dupree up close and personal.
Ooh. So Device, does he get smoked out? Because it's going to come down to the double pit setup for Astralis if it's going to be a Halls pop. And they are ready for this kind of hit.
Magisk is such a successful anchor. Looks like he's going to lock it down. Has to dodge the frag grenades, but he pops Swag's noggin. And that's going to really get this one rolling. Momentum falling forward. Stewie just sprints into the bomb site as quick as he can. But he's just cowering now in the corner, and can you blame him? 12 shots, doubles back, 5 seconds, needs to die, and he does.
I think it's kind of doing some kind of Danish nursery rhyme. He's definitely having a good time at this point. Astralis achieved double digits, and that was an easy round for Magisk, wasn't it? Sitting in the pit, killing 2 players coming out of halls, has Dupree there with 100 HP and an MP9, who's thirsty for some frags. Easily using that high ground to his advantage. Knocking down 2, putting MiBR back on pistols. Swag this time is the only one who's upgraded. MiBR will most likely buy next. So here we have the God Flash to Banana, potentially isolate Device. Sitting near the logs.
Yeah, good thing he turns and tucks tail. I feel like if he's 10 feet forward, he's in a real issue, but Molotov opts not to throw it down. He's going to rely on the M4 and just continues to fade away. You know, tantalizing MiBR with that close presence.
They know exactly what the deal is now. They've pulled the rotate back. They've got the 2-3 that they want. This is a cheap way to be able to pull the rotates, and now they can potentially go back to A or B, but they have to decide if Arsenal is going to overcommit, and that is an opening. Swag with the only upgraded pistol finds his first 1D.
Yeah, that's worth 700 bucks. But that bomb is going to double back into the apartments. Now, we will have Magisk again in the pit, but Dupree's in a bit of a tricky spot. Fallen continues this wraparound towards the B site. Maybe just trying to confirm numbers, trying to keep them committed. You don't want anybody on the B side ejecting down Banana and getting behind this setup, right? This is the perfect pinch. Picturesque even. Dupree just gonna hide, and Magisk takes that first contact, but he's gonna have to reload at some point. Still, he picks up these kills, and it's nearly a full house. He'll take it.
Nice.
3 frags from pit, 2 within the bomb site. And what looked like it could have been a successful eco is just turned right back around.
Yeah, that was really well done. You know, off that 1 kill, their job's not done, and once they get into CT spawn, Fallen takes it upon himself to try to show presence, to make it seem like it could be a B split. And the way that works out the best is if they don't get information on Banana, which they didn't. So then it puts the most amount of pressure on the 2 players on the site who don't have a fast rotate, and they don't have a big flank either. And then they still pull the kills together. And that was, you know, off the back of Magus and Co. So another pause is called here by MiBR as they talk about things. They move into a very important rifle round, could be game defining.
And as they talk things over, we have our local casters hyping up this crowd. Man, did they ever roar when MiBR walked out. You want to get behind him. Now's the time to do it. Starting to let this one slide. It's been a long time since MiBR found rounds on the board. Is this their chance to crack through?
Fallen's going to be opping this time. It was Swag who it seemed like was going to be opping after saving in the second round, but immediately, as soon as they have the money, it's back to Father Fallen. I don't know if how he's going to be able to use this, but not uncommon to start things off on Banana for either team. Lave going to be the one making his way down. It's understood where he can be behind this smoke, and sometimes a player can die to the spam. But Glaive understands the timings really well. He's going to be able to avoid most of this damage, and even finds an opening where a nade comes his way, but he sees that as an opportunity, a door opening.
And while they do lose Stewie in the backlines, they do still have a good chance to just pop in. Talking about getting caught with nades. Magisk not punished for that. He is lucky to be alive. Good job by Dupree, just calling away the attention, giving him that moment of cover he most certainly needed. But here comes Father Fallen, prying eyes from the skies as he plucks Magisk out of the pit. And now it's Coldzera to add yet another to the kill feed. This is still doable, but the problem now is the fact that they are entirely swarmed upon.
Man, the A-site defense doesn't look like it'll be cracked in this half. I mean, it really felt like MiBR were onto something to start things off, but at this point, Astralis look impenetrable for sure. And they're pulling the rotate sometimes. They're getting a lot of ground. They're getting close to jumping out of halls, but they can't get the kills. And if that's the final boss, it's the final boss because it's the hardest.
One of the best things you can hope for is actually to catch that anchor with a grenade in hand. Even this time, it does not seem to be enough. Covered by Dupree, and then the smoke straight up in their eyes blocks any trade potential. Kevlar, upgraded pistols, just Stu with that lone AK-47. Zipex wants to run forward, but both teams are blinded in that exchange. So nobody finds anything in the end.
Coalition of flashbangs. Some reap rewards for either team. And again, just pistols. Stewie's here with an AK. Can try to make a play. But doesn't want to peek out of the halls. One of the scariest angles to walk into. Graveyard, Arch, site, pit, small pit. All places you have to be concerned about. Unless you have some sick read. But now we've got 5 Ts with R control in CT spawn, and Dupree, he seems worried about it, but he doesn't have concrete information. He doesn't know for sure.
Yeah, he's got a worrying inkling. Nice dink. Fallen's gonna try to reload frantically, has the cover here, but Dupree's got the lineup, it seemed. Magisk still weathers the storm. And again, it's Astralis on fire.
That's it. Yeah, they steal back the momentum completely, and it is symbolized by them being on fire.
13-1
right
in the last 14 rounds.
Yeah. It was a 5-0 start for MiBR.
Yep. 6.
6-0
start. They had the crowd hyped. They just wanted to crush those hopes into the dirt.
Right. Yeah. Set them up.
Now they laugh about it.
Yeah. The turret of Magisk in the pit is what's it's seriously just so difficult to deal with. I mean, he's just so good. I mean,
26-9.
It's hard to analyze past that point. He's just so damn good. He always hits his shots. He always gets 2 or 3 kills. He rarely ever takes damage. And even when he pulls out a nade, he gets lucky. He gets away.
Thing is he's got Dupree to rotate over, right? And that's who we find, you know, firing off as that second heavy fragger. 18 kills to his name.
Yeah, they've got the entire phalanx on A.
Right.
3 rounds now to go for Astralis to close this out. And be 1 more round closer to winning a tournament without dropping a map. There's a huge % chance that they could actually do that if they get the final, depending on who's there.
Correct.
Definitely what seemed like what was going to be their harder matches were yesterday, plus this one. Yeah.
As they face Cloud9 in the following round.
Yeah, Cloud9, or technically second or third best team in the tournament.
I mean, listen, Astralis and Cloud9 going 2-0 at the start of the first day. Predict that one.
Right.
But alas, we fall back on MiBR's waning few chances. Device clears Stewie immediately. That's again one of these moments where, you know, you have a 4-1 setup coming out for MiBR and they lose that tail end. You know, that one-off piece of the puzzle, and Device knows it. Look how the way he's just aggressively prying down Banana. He'll gobble up all the information and control he can.
Love the way that MiBR are constantly abusing arch control above all else and then getting into CT and trying to make moves from there, but there's so much damage dealt before the actual execute comes out that it becomes hard for them to bring the rounds to a close. Now here, they have created a way to clamp down on a site, but Dupree is too fast on the trigger. Xyp9x as well gets a headshot, and Tarek at least trades out, but it's 2v4. 40 seconds up in no man's land. It's good to be in CT, but not when you don't have players to help you crunch.
Yeah, with Device knowing already that there was nobody down Banana, he can confidently come right back. And it's the 1-2 punch between him and Glaive to secure themselves 14.
Yeah, another full buy here for Astralis, but will it be a full buy for MiBR? They have to decide if they want to fend off match point. They decided to force after the second round of the second half. I wouldn't be surprised if they throw caution to the wind. And yeah, they do have the ability to buy 4 AK, so they're going to go for it. Fallen's going to, he's going to compromise with just the CZ, but that won't be an excuse. They still have enough guns here on T side to be able to bring this one home. Dewey up front.
Flashbang, this time it connects, but Glaive comes out with the sandbags. Crawls out of his cubby. Catches a kill, 4-4. Oh man, he wants more. He's going to extinguish the flames and then slays Fallen. Follow up with additional kills straight through smoke. Oh no, swag! Might not be invited for the next blast. But due diligence. They will still hold their ground at the bottom of Banana. They just want their bomb back. It is theirs after all. Can they surpass Dupree? And can they do that before Magisk strikes from behind, because he's sniffing down mid at the moment?
Might not be the king of bananas, but you know he loves them.
They have it, they clear him, they try. More damage, damn. How does he play this? 45 seconds up.
This is definitely comfort zone for Swag. The problem is with an op in CT, there's no way to bait this. Oh, yeah. There's Device, plays it carefully. Cuts off construction as well as the cross into enemy lines and make sure that no lurk can come out today. It's Astralis to get match points. 8 rounds in a row it'll take for MiBR to bring this back, and they haven't won a round in a very long time. So, will this be the one? We're on Galil's. I know this is Tarek's favorite weapon, but is everybody else going to be comfortable? Astralis are big chillin'. And what could potentially be the final round of the game. Xyp9x starts it off with a fantastic spray. 2 kills for him, and he gets away clean.
Just looking to make mincemeat of what remains here of MiBR. Such a hot start to this match. That aggression turned back, and now they continue to topple. coldzera and Fallen. The remaining Brazilians of MiBR will peek around the corner and fall at the feet of Astralis, their 4th victim here in Lisbon. It is a clean sweep thus far, and who can dethrone them? Certainly not MiBR, not